Hello, good evening, and welcome to the 19th Shanty Sessions live stream lockdown broadcast on behalf of and for the Rogue Shanty Chorus. Please click share if you would. That would be absolutely wonderful. Who are the Rogue Shanty Chorus? Well, the Rogue Shanty Chorus, Paul and I are two of the leaders. There are three of us. Paul and I are two of them. And the Rogue Shanty Chorus is an authentic fishing choir based in Lowestoft, which is the most easterly town in the UK, about as far east as you can go without getting your toes wet. And as a chorus or as a choir, we celebrate the music of the fishermen and the seafaring communities. We sing sea shanties, obviously, maritime-themed songs as part of a wider creative arts project called the Unique Coastal Cultural and Musical Heritage of Waveney. And that celebrates the associated heritage of the fishing industry in North Suffolk.
Well, I'm going to say a few hellos. The first hello goes to Bill Kitchen. He's already said hello before we even started streaming. And also, evening, everyone, from Michelle Gallagher. But I'm also going to say hello to all of our regular choir members, our rogues, who meet at the Seagull Theatre for our usual fortnightly sessions, usually pre-lockdown anyway. I'm also going to say hello to new members who've taken an interest since we started our lockdown broadcast on the 17th of March. That was Livestream episode number 1, and that would include Bill Kitchen. I guess you've joined us since then. Finally, a special hello to anybody that's joining us for the first time tonight, whether that be right here on Facebook or right here on YouTube, because we are broadcasting across both. For those of you that don't get on with Facebook broadcasts, YouTube is also available. Now,
I think Paul says that we're broadcasting to both, but I would go one step further and say that we're simulcasting.
Oh, simulcasting right into your living room, whether you like it or not.
We're coming at you.
Now, the project is funded by People's Health Trust Active Communities Programme. This has enabled us to work with people of all ages, from 2 years old to 90 years young. People with all abilities, from experienced musicians to those that are just starting out, to explore their love of music and especially their love of shanties. These broadcasts are led by us, and they're in direct response to the social distancing measures that were put in place to safeguard the public of the UK against COVID-19 all those months ago. They are our means of staying connected with our members and also to engage with new people during this time.
Yeah, so we do say a big thank you to People's Health Trust for continuing to fund us through this. And if you've appreciated at all being able to tune in and join in with us, or find out about new or old shanties, or make connections through these sessions, please give a little thank you to People's Health Trust as well, because they will love that. They will absolutely love it. Now, look, we've included some special guests just lately, and tonight is no exception. Tonight we have an extremely special guest. And many of you regulars who come along to our physical choir when that used to be able to happen will know him as Kevin Barnard. He's a kind of our resident storyteller, wonderful guy, fantastic historian, immense knowledge on the East Anglia and coastal activities. And there he is in action in one of our shows. And he's going to be joining us later on to share a story or two, which will absolutely fascinate you. I know it will. But yeah, please don't forget to send us your comments. You're doing that already, which is wonderful. But please do send over any comments, any suggestions, any requests, and we try and read out as many as we can. And just love to know that you're joining us, and it just feels that much more interactive. But, you know, I wonder if we should start with a song, Paul. What do you reckon?
I'd love to. I've got one if you haven't.
Okay, well, let's go with you then, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to go for something really rousing. It's one of our favourites, I know, from the Rogue Shanty Chorus. It's number 5. Of course, it is Sam's Gone Away.
Sam's Gone Away.
Sam Gone Away.
Yeah.
Please join in. We love to know that you're joining in, not just from your comments, but also when we see that you share. That's fantastic for us, and it just helps us to know that we're broadcasting and we're live streaming to an active audience. And if we can at least think that you're singing along with the chorus lines, that makes it even easier for us to sing it. So thank you very much. Sam's Gone Away, number 5, goes like this. I wish I was a cabin boy aboard a man o' war. Hey, Sam's gone away aboard a man o' war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Hey, Sam's gone away aboard a man o' war. I wish I was the boatswain aboard a man o' war. Hey, Sam's gone away aboard a man o' war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam's gone away aboard a man o' war. I wish I was a gunner aboard a man of war. Ho! Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. I wish I was the captain aboard a man of war. Oh, Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. I'm glad I'm not a maiden aboard a man of war. No, Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Hey, Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. You'll never be a hero aboard a man of war. Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Oh, Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Now, pretty work, brave boys, pretty work, I say. Sam's gone away aboard a man of war. Ho!
Very nice, Paul. Lovely. Good, rousing start. I'm going to take your word. Rousing start for the session. And look, we've got a few more messages since then. Look, we've got Ben Southern. Ben says hello, Ben. Sue Day says ahoy there, everyone. Marion Boucher says hello, folks, from my little corner of Canada. And just hello, once again, Marion, thank you so much for the wonderful book that you sent us. I am extremely grateful for it. I'm hogging it for now. Paul has his copy of the CD and he will get to look at this, but I'm pouring my way through it. So thanks once again. Sally Hardman says, hello, folks. She also says, that's a great picture of Kev. It absolutely is, isn't it? And we wonder now if anybody's ever seen that. Maybe they haven't. There you go. There's him again. That's Kev Barnard, our resident storyteller, in action in one of our shows. Storytelling, in fact. Marion Bichette says, yay for Sam's gone away. Yeah, absolutely. Linda Boyce says, evening, everyone. Linda, tonight I managed to unmute us in time. How about that? Susan Corkmaz says, hello. Well, hello, Susan.
Hello.
Marion Bichette says, pretty work, Paul, I say.
Thank you very much.
And then Sally, she's missing her solo line. I wish I was a cook aboard a man of war. And Michelle said, lively start to the evening. Yeah. She didn't say lovely, did she? I don't know if that was a particular compliment, to be honest. Maybe not.
Oh. Now, we should just mention that Kevin is one of our regulars, one of our rogues of the Rogue Shanty Chorus. This is a picture of that chorus enjoying a very full evening at the Seagull Theatre performance. And this was a shoddy night in. If you're lucky enough to catch the Rogue Shanty Chorus, then I'm sure you'll enjoy your evening as we enjoy singing to you. Yeah,
and we... I guess just to take that one step further, actually, a shoddy night in. What does that even mean? Because it doesn't sound like it's a good night. But Lowestoft beachmen and fishermen, they used to have buildings that they would kind of illegally erect upon the beach to get them closer towards the launch point of their yawls, which were kind of precursors to lifeboats. And they used to call these kind of rickety buildings shods, so like sheds, but they were much, much larger, but very similar. And they would adorn them with the kind of the rescued cargo of various boats and ships that they had bartered to save. And once a year, they would have what was known locally as a smokers' concert. Smoke partly from the fish, but mostly from the tobacco. And it would be quite a rousing night, and it would be a lot of merriment and singing from the fishermen. And we understand mostly just the fishermen. Ladies weren't allowed. But they were also called shod concerts because they were held in these kind of rickety buildings. And so we recreated the atmosphere of a shod concert with a theatre show that we did. Must have been last year now, towards the end of last year.
October, I think, but we had to let women in, didn't we?
We did, yeah. In fact, if we didn't let women in, we'd be very few in number.
I believe there tended to be a special Christmas edition of the shod concerts, in which case all of the family was encouraged to come along, the wives and the children. And
maybe they call that girls allowed. Maybe not. But anyway, if you are at all interested in that, it was a sellout to as all the chorus concerts usually are. It was a sellout, but we did have a DVD taken. If you would like a copy, you're very welcome to contact the page, and we can arrange to send you one out. Obviously, it does cost, and postage is only what it costs us. But if you're interested, get in touch. A shoddy night in for the DVD. Yeah.
A couple of quick hellos before you go on to How You Heard It, Boy, which is our regular Suffolk phrase.
Go on then.
This one's from Carly Franklin. Evening, Stephen, Paul, and everyone. And now,
Evening,
Bill Kitchen, we've already heard from him, but he says hiya from Keswick instead of Brightlingsea this week. Well, it's a little bit closer, I guess. David Woods of the Woods household. Good evening from the Woods household. Good evening, Woods household, and David Woods and Janet Woods. Lovely to know that you're with us.
Yeah. Hello, Hoods household.
So what you got there then, Billy?
Is that it? Okay. Well, I tell you what, look, we do this once a week. We feature this fantastic book called Suffolk Words and Phrases by Edward Moore, originally printed 1823, and at the time was actually considered quite a preeminent piece of work on local dialect diction and phrasing. And he particularly had it published, or wanted to, because he kind of felt that many of the words that were in use then were slightly kind of reducing in their usage, and he didn't want these wonderful East Anglian and in particular Suffolk words to stop being used or fall out of use. So he printed it.
It's basically a Suffolk dictionary, is it?
But kind of, yeah. And we at random, once every session, we pick one of the words out. We deliberately try and choose one of the words because there are a surprising amount of words still in usage, or certainly that many of us might remember hearing on the odd occasion. And once every session, we pick one of the words out that we don't think is particularly easy to have a guess at what you think it is. So we ask you to have a guess. You don't win anything. We ask you not to use Google. It's just a bit of fun. Just have a guess. It's a rubbish competition. And this week's word is Sauniken. 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 Sauniken.
There we go.
There. And let us know what you think Sauniken might mean. Anyway, look, I'm going to do you a song, if that's all right. I'm going to do you a song, and this is fantastic song. We love it. Fairly new. I mean, I say fairly new to our repertoire. It's number 52, and we're on about 63 right now. It certainly was fairly new when we had to stop meeting back in mid-March, and we've introduced a few more since then. But this is a song called Blow You Winds, and we learned it from the wonderful Kingston Trio. I guess our arrangement is most closely kind of resembling of theirs, although we have put our own original aspects into it. But there is a very definitive American version, and there is a very definitive English version, and we're using the English or the British lyrics. We've taken our lyrics from this fantastic book, which is the Oxford Book of Sea Songs by Roy Palmer. I nearly said Carl Palmer, but it's Roy Palmer. And he says this about the song. In fact, backing up what I've just mentioned to you, both American and British whalermen claimed this song as their own. In American, it began, 'tis advertised in Boston, New York, and Albany. 500 brave Americans are whaling for to go. It was another of the songs sung both as a four-bitter, which is a kind of a romantic song. It's not sung for any work purposes. It serves no rhythmical or duty-based purpose, and a capstan or pump shanty. That means it was. The earliest text seems to be in the 1859 logbook of the Elizabeth Swift of New Bedford, Mass. The version here is given from A.L. Lloyd, or Bert Lloyd, as some of us know him, who himself made a voyage on an Antarctic whaler in 1937. He doesn't speak much about the kind of any provenance of the date or publishing of the British version, but I'm certainly willing to bet that it's older than the American version. If we've got any Americans watching, we're not starting a fight. I just think it might be a bit older at our end. Anyway, so look, we've kind of done a compromise. We're using the American melody based on the Kingston Trio's version, and we are doing the British lyrics. So anyway, look, if you want to sing along, you're very, very welcome to. We're going to share the lyrics on the screen, and I'll just remember the starting key. Yeah, D is good. Okay, this is Blow You Winds. Tis advertised in Boston, New York, and Buffalo. 100 hardy sailors away for gold, singing blow you winds a morning, Blow your winds, I-oh, haul away a running gear and blow, boys, blow. They tell you of the clever ships are running in and out. They say it take 500 whales before you're 6 months out, singing blow your winds a morning. Blow your winds, I-oh, haul away a running gear and blow, boys, blow. The skippers on the after deck are squinting at the sails, when up above the lookout spots a mighty school of whales, singing blow your winds a morning. Blow your winds, I-oh, haul away a running gear and blow, boys, blow. Then lower down the boats, my boys, and after him we'll travel. But if you get too near his tail, kick you to the devil, singing blow your winds a morning. Blow your winds, I-oh, haul away a running gear and blow, boys, blow. Now that he is ours, my boys, will bring him alongside, and over with our blubber hooks and rob him of his hide. Blow your winds a morning, blow your winds, I-oh, haul away a running gear and blow, boys, blow. When we get home, our ship made fast, and we get through our sailing, brimming glass around our pass, and this blubber wailing, singing blow your winds a morning. Blow your winds, I-oh, haul away a running gear and blow, boys, blow. Blow, boys, blow. Blow, boys, blow. Yeah, Blow Ye Winds there by, or certainly our version most closely resembling the Kingston Trio version.
Very nice, very nice. I'm going to feature some comments, and that is firstly from Michelle Gallagher. I love this song. I love it as well. I love that Kingston Trio version. Really nice. And Marion Bouchert, she gives it at least 3 rounds of applause, which is what Michelle Gallagher has also given it. 3 rounds of applause. That's a lovely picture you've got there as well, Michelle. And one from David Woods. Sad to see the demise of Orford Lighthouse. Do we have a shanty with any reference? Well, we certainly do, but I'm not sure if we've been prepared enough to actually...
Yeah, in fact, I'll do it in the same key. I'm just going to do a verse or two of this. For anybody who doesn't know, we will talk to you about the Haysborough Lighthouse, or the lyrics actually seem to pronounce it as Happisburgh. But if you're local, or if you've ever made the mistake of saying Happisburgh in front of a local, you certainly will know that it's Haysborough. Anyway, so it goes like this. As we were a-fishing off Haysborough Lie, shooting and hauling and trawling all night in this windy old weather, stormy old weather. When the wind blows, we all pull together. When the wind blows, we all pull together. And that's it, really. So, yeah, so what is David talking about? For anybody who doesn't know, I'm sad to see the demise of Orford Lighthouse. Absolutely, completely sad. And in fact, we've been supporters of Haysborough Lighthouse and the Haysborough Lighthouse Trust and the wonderful work that the volunteers have done for a long time. There has actually been a light at Haysborough since 1637, a low light, not the current or previously current lighthouse there. But in January and February this year, the local council decided that it was actually unsafe for it to remain in situ or erect.
Due to coastal erosion, which is a really common concern in our part of the world.
Really, yeah.
All the way around the Wash.
Yeah, we happened to we managed to kind of see it being dismantled and taken apart, and actually fairly shocking to see underneath the sand. There was only a big lump of concrete about 2 foot deep and 8 courses of bricks under all that height. So I guess we can certainly understand why they made the decision to take it down. But nonetheless, it must have been hugely heartbreaking to all the volunteers and the people involved with it. And we certainly extend our thanks to them for all the work they've done. the blood, sweat and tears that they've put into to keep the lighthouse operational and open, because it's been available for educational visits to young people for a long time. So we say thank you, and we extend our commiserations as well, I guess. And thank you, David, for reminding us. Yeah.
Quick mention to Martha Knox Forrester. Hi, all, a bit late tuning in this evening. I think she means her, not us. That's okay, Martha. Doesn't matter. You're here. That's what's important to us.
Exactly. Yeah.
And a mention to Janice Marjoram. Lovely that Janet and David are in tonight from the Woodhouse. They're often in from the Woodhouse, actually. I don't think they're in from anywhere else, but usually they're tuning in from the Woodhouse. It's lovely also that Janice Marjoram is in tonight from the Marjoram House.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, look, I'm gonna mention something now, and so for anyone who doesn't know, I think a lot of people do know, but we're getting a lot of people tune in from beyond our little corner of East Anglia. Now, the Rogues is a kind of a brand. It's a rubbish brand, but the Rogues is a brand that features not just our wonderful shanty chorus, but we also have the Rogue Shanty Boys. And the Rogue Shanty Boys are a group that comprises Paul and myself, our good friend Andy on percussion, and a further 3 or 4 guys. So we're kind of a vocal collective with the odd guitar and stringed instrument thrown in. And we take the music that the Rogue Shanty Chorus often sing, and we take it out further afield to festivals. Usually, certainly not this year. We've not really had many bookings at all because of COVID. But we are going to allow the boys, and this could be a terrible idea, we're going to allow the boys next week to do a social media takeover. And what does that even mean? Well, it means they're going to be joining us and taking over this live stream next week. So episode 20 is going to be exclusively, pretty much, the Rogue Shanty Boys. So if you have seen us perform anywhere before and you've got any burning questions for the boys, or there's any songs that they normally sing that you would like them to sing, we're not going to be able to sing together because we're all still separate. But if there's any songs you'd like them to sing solo, let us know either now or next week. Okay, but that's next week. So a social media takeover by the boys. And look, since we're talking about the boys, the boys, the collective, are going to be doing our first performance for many months, and that is actually going to be next Friday the 31st of July, and we are going to be together. Okay, we're going to be together physically, and we're going to be live streaming our performance. So if anybody would like to kind of watch that from the comfort and safety of their own home, or even if you don't want to watch it, but you're willing to support us by buying a ticket, we would love you to. I'm going to just share. This is a fairly short, hopefully, but I'm going to share a very short performance that we did at the Shrewsbury Folk Festival. It was, wasn't it? Shrewsbury, not Shrewsbury, from last year. And we hope that you have a listen. If you have never heard of what we sound like, this is what we sound like, and it goes like this.
Not a key change in the middle there. Did anyone notice?
Yeah, we expected that.
Just keep us on our toes.
I think so. Did anyone notice? Did anyone not notice? Did anyone care? No. Okay. So, anyone stressed with putting up a tent today?
He was.
Oh, yeah.
He was.
You should have seen her into it.
Yeah, I left the door open when we sang our first set, so I came in and it was literally flooded. These guys conveniently didn't come back to the tent because they were busy. So there was me with my only towel I brought this weekend, getting rid of the water. What a great tent camping experience.
Yeah, Rich, they're not called doors on tents, they're called flaps.
Okay, and you got in a right flap about it.
We are actually related, so if we have a little domestic on stage, perhaps you'll forgive us.
Watch the security.
Anytime you like.
I don't even remember how this one goes. Okay. In South Australia I was born. Either way, hard away. South Australia, round Cape Horn. We're bound for South Australia. Roll away, you rolling pin. Heave away, all the way. Roll away, you'll hear me sing. We're bound for South Australia. Now South Australia is my home. Heave away, all the way. And South Australia's where I'm gonna roam. We're bound for South Australia. All the way, you rolling king. Heave away, all the way. All the way, you'll hear me sing. And we're bound for South Australia. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm on a foreign strand. Heave away, all the way. I got a bottle of beer in my both hands. We're bound for South Australia. All the way, you're rolling. Hey, hey. Heave away, all the way. All the way, you'll hear me sing. We're bound for South Australia. When I'm on a foreign shore, heave away, all the way. I drink to the girl that I adore. We're bound for South Australia. All the way, you rolling. Hey, heave away, all the way. All the way, you'll hear me sing. We're bound for South Australia. I'll tell you now, it ain't no lie. Heave away, all the way. Gonna love that gal till the day I die. We're bound for South Australia. All the way, you rolling king. Hey, heave away, all the way. All the way, you'll hear me sing. We're bound for South Australia. And now we're homeward bound once more. Heave away, all the way. We'll soon be drinking on home shore. We're bound for South Australia. All the way, you rolling king. Hey, heave away, all the way. All the way, you'll hear me sing. We're bound for South Australia. All the way, you rolling king. Heave away, all the way. Hey, all the way, you'll hear me sing. We're bound for South Australia.
So there you have. Oh, let's work out how to get rid of this. That's the one. Okay, there you have. That's the Rogue Shanty Boys, and we were at Shrewsbury Folk Festival, and we have this is the first time actually we've featured any pre-recorded music, isn't it, in this stream, Paul? Or what did I do there? But what we wanted to do was let you know what we're like, and then if you don't think that we're particularly good, you can obviously just say, well, I'm not going to go and I'm not going to watch those guys live. If you would like to find out more, we've put the link in the comments, okay? And that is, I think it's gone up a little bit now, but it's a MailChimp link, and that can take you to, where can it take you to, Paul?
It's going to take us to, I've got no idea. That MailChimp link will take you to the Rogue Shanty Boys Facebook page.
Oh, yes, it will. Yeah, no, it will take you to a little invoice. And to watch us, it's £7. There's 7 of us. It's £7. We start at 7 p.m. Nice and easy to remember. We've got an early bird offer on, and it goes up by £1 next Monday. So if you'd like to watch us live, then we'd be very appreciative. And what is it they say that the key to good shanty singing is great vocals, great musicianship, and a few Timmy Wayhays. Yeah, something like that anyway.
And by Timmy Wayhays, I think they mean Behir.
Yeah. But anyway, the guys are going to come with us next week. They're going to be in here. There's going to be most of them saying hello, talking a bit, sharing some songs. And so if you have any questions for them, let us know. Just let us know. Now, we've asked you about our Suffolk word or phrase. How you heard it, boy. This week it's Sornaken. We'd love to know what you think that might be, but I don't think anybody's commented yet. No. So it's from our book of Suffolk words and phrases by Edward Moore, Sornaken or Sorniken. Tell us what you think that might mean, because we know, but we want to know if you know. The other thing is our question of the week. And this is a strange one because of related events that have happened. I was wondering, where's the strangest place you found your pet? I'd love to know. I'd love to know where the strangest place you found your pet might be. Why, pet? What are you doing up the chimney like?
Why, pet? And that comes from a certain tale that our percussionist Andy Marr told me, and it was lovely to see Andy on that video. To be honest, it was just lovely to remind myself of what my what work used to look like, what the office used to look like when we were able to go.
Yeah.
Oh, those were the days. Anyway,
couple of comments. I can't share them on here because they've gone onto our other page, but they're just saying, can we see more? Well, that set was about an hour long, so rather than stem up your feed this evening, we'll share the link very shortly, and you can watch it, but we'll only share it towards the end of this, so that you don't go off and watch it instead.
Yeah, don't do that.
But if you want to see more, when we do our concert next Friday, the 31st, at a beautiful and bucolic secret Suffolk location, we will be singing together. We won't be separate on that occasion. We'll be together but socially distanced, and we will be singing together with microphones and harmonies and everything. So just click on the link to pay for your ticket and join us, won't you? Anyway, look, I think we've done the hard stuff enough.
A quick comment from Sally Hardman because of the Rogue Shanty Boys takeover next week. She says, "Oh dear, should we be scared? Depends if you like us or not." And David Woods says, "No way." As I've never heard him say before. I wonder if that might be Janet Woods that said that. Rosemary Balkett says, "How many of you had, Janice?" I think she means drinks, but I'm not going to ring.
Could be anything. Yeah,
it could be anything. Linda Boyce, she says, "Looking forward to next week." That's very kind. Hope we don't disappoint. Rosemary also says, "Brilliant. Looking forward to Friday night." That's week Friday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the 31st. So it's not this coming Friday, but next Friday. Currently, the 7 of us at 7 p.m. The tickets are £7. But from Monday, we're going to put them up to £8. That's just encourage you to book early or to book a tour.
Like.
Yeah.
Kassian Marcinkovska, she says, "I've watched your Shrewsbury concert a few days ago. Great stuff." Thank you very much, Cassia. Cassia is tuning in all the way from Poland. She's one of our regular audience, and we are very lucky to have the Polish contingent. Thank you very much, Cassia.
Absolutely, yeah. Witamy na nasz transmisji.
There we go. Bless you, Stephen.
I will get better on that one day or another.
Almost. Now, from Alison Lucas, she's not quite as far as Poland. She's actually Southend-on-Sea, and we know that Poland isn't on sea. Hurrah, says Alison. "Would love to watch the live streaming next week, but it's baby darling's 15th birthday." It doesn't sound much like a baby, to be honest, baby darling. We're taking her to the drive-in cinema to see Grease. Well, that's a fantastic show to see. Don't forget, Alison, don't forget everybody that these broadcasts, these live stream episodes, of which we are at number 19, they are all available to view at any point. And take your shoes off. Take your shoes off, Thomas, so you can count that.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you want to catch up with them at any point, do that. You can also catch up with our Monday night history sessions featuring our local legend and lovely historian, Ivan Bunn. He talks about lots of different issues regarding Lowestoft and the surrounding areas, such as Kirkley, Gunton, and he's a fascinating storyteller and talker. And I tell you who else is? Our man, Kevin Barnard.
Yeah. Now, Kevin, he's a wonderfully, I'm going to say important part, but that doesn't really do him justice. Important part of our fantastic Rogue Shanty chorus, and there he is in action. I don't think he's seen that picture before, actually. But he's shaking his head. That's Kevin in action. With he's got his story face on, and he's telling stories. And by stories, we mean historical stories. We don't mean Porky Pies. In our show, A Shoddy Night In, as he does in every single one of our shows that we've done. And Kevin comes from a long line of Rogue Shanty chorus members. In fact, at one point we had 4 generations of his family coming along, including Kevin, which was absolutely wonderful. Now, we miss Kevin absolutely dearly, along with all of our wonderful chorus members, but we have asked Kevin on a couple of occasions to come on and have a chat with us and maybe share a story or two, because every time he does, whether we've heard it before or not, every time he does, our wonderful chorus absolutely love it, and he's found some fascinating stories with a kind of an East Anglian connection. So very shortly we're going to invite Kev on, and he's already been on once before. I think it was number 12, so you can watch that again if you wanted to. But yeah, in a short while we're going to bring him on. I just wonder if Paul might have a song that he'd like to share for us.
Really quickly, time is getting away with us tonight. I don't know. We must be nattering for Britain tonight.
Yeah.
Chris Collins.
This is good.
We're going for the question on where's the strangest place you found your pet? We had a pet slow worm about 40 years ago, bought from a pet shop, and one day he escaped, and we found him after a week's disappearance in with the potatoes in the kitchen.
What? Okay.
Also from Chris Collins, wondering if Sornaken, our Suffolk word or phrase of the week, could be a painful something or other. Now, it's not a bad guess.
I saw what you mean. So as in it's sore. So all we need to find out is what is Naken, because it's sore, whatever it is.
Maybe if Ken's got a sore knee.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a bad guess.
We're
Anyway,
riffing here anyway. We're riffing, aren't we?
We are riffing. I'm going to give you a shanty. Actually, not a shanty. This is more of a four-bitter. And because we've been mentioning the Rogue Shanty Boys, this is one that's recently added to our repertoire. And so recently, nobody really knows it yet. But I'm going to sing it to you. It's a four-bitter song. It's a much slower piece and a little bit more romantic, I suppose. It's called Steal Her Away. And it goes like this. All I need to do is find the lyrics. Now, this isn't in our Rogue Shanty chorus repertoire, so you won't have the lyrics. But feel free to sing along with the chorus if it becomes familiar enough. But we won't be displaying the lyrics. When first I saw Jenny as she laid on her bed, her virtues were many, her hair long and red. I was drawn to her purpose after voyage at sea, and seeking the service of one such as she. And I'll steal her away, steal her away. When I'm back on shore, I shall steal her away. Never no more will she seek men that pay, for the life I'll make for her will steal her away. She was fair, she was gentle, she knew how to please. I became sentimental, but she put me at ease. I could scarcely fulfill what I'd gone there to do, but she held me until we saw dawn breaking through. And I'll steal her away, steal her away. When I'm back on shore, I shall steal her away. Never no more will she seek men that pay, for the way I'll adore her will steal her away. The last time I saw her was hearing goodbye from the deck of my trawler with a tear in my eye. I've kept to my word after such a long fade, and I wept as I heard of her terrible fate. Stolen away, stolen away. When I made it to shore, she'd been stolen away. Never no more will she seek men that pay, for the life she had in her was stolen away. She was fair, she was tender, her voice soft and true. I shall always remember her eyes clear and blue. I'll see the man dead that sped her to her grave, and I'll raise the red-headed child that she gave. Stolen away, stolen away. When I made it to shore, she'd been stolen away. Never no more will she seek men that pay, for the life she had in her was stolen away. And that's that.
Lovely, lovely song. One of Paul's, in fact.
You.
You. Now I'm going to do a song now. This is rather a sinister song. It's not in the repertoire of either the Rogue Shanty Chorus or the Rogue Shanty Boys. Do you know what? I'm just going to actually stop because there's a few comments on this, which are lovely comments. The first one is from Sally. A beautiful song, Paul. Marion Bishop, sad and beautiful. And Carly says, Let's find that. A lovely song, Paul. Charlie Moore says, beautiful. And then Marion Bichette says, what? Did you write that? Yes, Marion, he did. In fact, Paul is quite a prolific songwriter, although we don't get many opportunities to share that. Linda Boyce also says, lovely, Paul. And Chris Collins says, love it. Oh, well, thank you very much on behalf of Paul. In fact, Paul Paul has recorded an album of kind of original songs with either a kind of an historical shanty feel, kind of written as if they were meant to sound particularly old, or just a maritime theme with a shanty vibe, in that there's a shanty man and then a doggerel, or the crew sing the refrain. And he has recorded them, and we're going to look to put them on iTunes to try and get them able to be downloaded. We do have an album on iTunes, the Rogue Shanty Boys, which is called Above Board, and I think we'll share the link to iTunes for that later on. But one more comment about that. Anthony Harrison, very impressed, ! Oh, there we go. Look, Above Board, available on iTunes and Amazon, all those things. But anyway, I think we've done enough selling this week, so I'm going to do you now a song, and it's kind of the song itself is extremely sad. Very, very sad to me, and there are a few permutations of it. The first one we found that just has a few verses that make it sound quite comical. The second one adds another verse, Stilo Expanded, this particular version, and that makes it very, very sad. And then a fifth verse, which I think was added maybe in the 30s or 40s. Makes it just a wee bit more comical, but all the versions make it still sound rather sinister. And it's a wife selling song, And if you've never heard of wife selling songs, let me tell you, in the Midlands and the Black Country, certainly around the turn of the century, they were very popular. So popular that they had their very own genre, in fact. And we know that they were probably particularly or at least the practice over there was particularly popular because so many songs were collected, and that points to the fact that they were wife selling was rather a common enough business in that neck of the woods. But this deals with a rather unpleasant subject of the practice of wife selling, but that said, there was a kind of a side to it in that most parties were happy enough with this practice. We certainly know from some historical records that the wife's lover would go along to the auction to make sure that he could successfully bid upon her, and it was just a way when divorce, which was the church was inextricably linked with state, and when divorce was not really allowed, this was a kind of a get out or a clause that allowed people to do what they wanted, really. And as we mentioned, the woman's lover would often be present at the market to sort of conclude the transaction. And in fact, this I think there was. I'm trying to think of the book now. I did find it earlier on, but there's a Thomas Hardy novel. Somebody might know, but it actually brings up the issue of wife selling. Anyway, let's say no more. This is beautiful but very, very haunting and distressing song called John Hobbs. A jolly shoemaker, John Hobbs, John Hobbs, a jolly shoemaker, John Hobbs. He married Jane Carter, no damsel looked smarter, but he caught a tartar, John Hobbs, John Hobbs. He caught a tartar, John Hobbs. He tied a rope to her, John Hobbs, John Hobbs. He tied a rope to her, John Hobbs. To escape from hot water, to Smithfield he brought her, but nobody bought her, Jane Hobbs, Jane Hobbs. They all were afraid of Jane Hobbs. Oh, For who by a wife, says John Hobbs, John Hobbs, a sweet pretty wife, says John Hobbs. But somehow they tell us those wife-dealing fellas were all of them sellers, John Hobbs, John Hobbs. And none of them wanted Jane Hobbs. The rope, it was ready, John Hobbs, John Hobbs. Come give me the rope, says John Hobbs. I won't stand to wrangle myself, I will strangle and hang dingle dangle, John Hobbs, John Hobbs. Young dingle dangle, John Hobbs. So if the song kind of ended there, which it did until about the mid-1910s, it would have been sad enough. He was embarrassed enough by the fact that he couldn't sell his wife, and he was quite clearly a cuckolded man, that he hung himself with a rope that he led her to the market on. But this extra verse was written on to nicely kind of pantomime everything up. And it was like this.
Now, Sally Hardman, she says the Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy features
That's the one.
a wife selling, I think. Yeah, that's the one.
Thank you, Sally. Yeah.
Anyway, quickly.
I've got one more verse to do.
Pardon?
You weren't listening. I've got one more verse to do.
Oh.
And it goes like this. But down his wife cut him, did Hobbs, John Hobbs, and down his wife cut him, Jane Hobbs. With a few herbal bubbles, they settled their troubles like most married couples, John Hobbs and Jane Hobbs. Like most married couples, the Hobbs. Now you can come in, Paul.
Hey! Carly
Easy.
Franklin says, that too is nice.
That too is, oh, thank you very much. It's very nice of you to say so, Carly. Well, look,
she says, wow, you Brits have some interesting traditions. It's just tradition, just, to sell your wife.
Yeah. So, I mean, actually, there was eventually the church stepped in on behalf of the state, and they declared it illegal, and declared what everybody was trying to avoid was obviously the that term bigamist. And they didn't want that, and the church actually used to have to go to the market and enforce it. And I don't think it made its way particularly around all parts of the country. And as we mentioned earlier, there are many wife-selling songs that date or that can be traced to the Midlands or the Black Country. So we know that they were particularly popular there. And interestingly, there's a wonderful song, which is a traditional song, but not as old as the wife-selling genres. And it's a song called My Husband's Got No Courage in Him. And there's a beautiful version by June Tabor. And it kind of relates to that. Because obviously we certainly know from the lyrics there that the wives were put over as not particularly meek or mild ladies themselves. They were certainly able to stick up for themselves. And so My Husband's Got No Courage in Him. Great song and worth checking out.
Now, one final comment before we go to our lovely Kevin Barnard, our very own storyteller for the Rogue Shanty Chorus. Michelle Gallagher refers to the question we asked about, where's the strangest place you found your pets? I found one of my pets dead at the bottom of the stairs one morning. It was one of the tropical fish from the tank in the hall. The tank has a lid on, so I couldn't work out how the fish managed to escape. Some sort of kamikaze mission, obviously. Very strange indeed. Thank you to Michelle Gallagher for that comment. To the question, where's the strangest place you found your pets? And I don't just mean you found them in, I don't know, Dis or somewhere. Our other question is our weekly, how you heard it, boy? Do you know what the word or phrase, our Suffolk words and phrase, sornaken? Anyway, enough of that. We're going to introduce the wonderful, the talented, the amazing, the poetic, the stand-up gentleman that is Kevin Barnard. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Evening. How are you, Paul?
I'm not too bad, mate. All the better for seeing you because
I feel like I've come between you.
I wondered where that was going. Okay, very well done.
Good to see you, gentlemen.
Yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. We've had you in once before, but that was many weeks ago, and it went down so well with the rest of the Rogue Shanty Chorus that we just knew we'd have to have you back again. So thanks for joining us, Kevin.
Absolute pleasure.
Good. And we should also mention that Kevin has been throughout this period a key worker. And I know he's very modest, so we won't make a big deal of it. But a wonderful chap and very good natured too, as well as talented. So, Kevin, have you got any tall tales and stories to tell us?
Yes. Well, over this lockdown, and obviously tuning into you guys, and I'm sorry I haven't been about for the last couple of weeks.
Fine.
But yeah, I've been reading lots of books, tall tales, and Shanties by Jack Rose. Other Fisherman's Tales by David Butcher. There's a great deal of books out there. Storm Warriors of the Suffolk Coast, and yeah, there's just a wonderful load of stories and things that will just bring you closer to the sea, and also ones to share. And obviously, I mentioned one when I last spoke to you, which was the boat that was sunk by a church tower.
Yeah.
Now, this was a story that happened in 1888. It was known. The little steam paddler or tug was called the Victoria, and she was based with the Yarmouth Steam Tug Company, and they had a summer sideline of running trips up to Cromer. One August morning, the Victoria took pleasure seekers up the coast and anchored as always off the North Beach, just near the Cromer Life boat and pier, and all the passengers went ashore by tender. It was a lovely summer's day. It was an unusually low sort of tide, but the skipper didn't think anything of it until suddenly there was a metallic grinding sound, and the boat suddenly keeled over when, bizarrely, strangely, something pierced the bottom of the boat. Now, it sunk very quickly and disappeared without trace, and people then came in, and the sort of first theory was that the actual boat had struck a rock. But again, there was nothing on the sort of navigational charts or maps. And then when salvage crew went out, they actually found that the boat had been holed and actually was stuck upon the pinnacles of a church. Now, this church was part of a village that actually was north of Cromer and actually had fallen into the sea some 30 to 50 years beforehand, bit by bit during winter gales. And actually the church tower somehow had remained upright and submerged. And yeah, the boat, with this unusual low tide, suddenly had sunk right on the top of the pinnacle. It pierced the bottom of the boat. And it was then confirmed, because again, it became a legend that people didn't believe, because again, it became known locally as the church that was sunk by the boat that was sunk by a church, not the church that was sunk by a boat. But yeah, the salvage team went down in the early 1900s and actually found the remains of the church masonry and the boat on its side with part of the sort of pinnacle spire of the church inside it.
Fantastic. And we should just say a little bit of a side point. The early 1900s, when you're talking about salvage and getting the boat back or out of the water or as much of the equipment, you're talking about quite an arduous task. I mean, even today, that's not an easy endeavor. But over 100 years ago, that's the methods involved in that are well, risky at best.
Yeah, and you would have had that classic image of the original diver's suit with the brass helmet and all that sort of thing, that they actually had to go down because obviously due to the tidal fluctuations, you had sort of 30 to 50 feet of water. But again, it became known as Ship's Rock. So it was the old village of Shipton that had actually slipped into the sea in Norfolk. And then eventually the church came back to sink a boat. So yeah, just one of the great stories that you can find when you read some of the local books, and I would encourage anyone to start having a look round. One of my other favourite stories was about George Edwards, and I think I talked about this in one of the Shanty shows.
he was a resident engineer, and he helped Lowestoft create its harbour. So he was part of Sir Morton Peato's sort of navigation company. And again, he was another diver by trade. And when excavating part of Lake Lothing to put the cut in to open it up to the sea, they dredged up a large stone that was on the bed of Lake Lothing, and it turned out to be a glacial boulder from the Ice Age. And because he was the person who found it and dredged it, it was presented back to him, and it became his prized relic throughout his life. And on his death, and in accordance with his wishes, it was suitably inscribed and is used as one of the most unusual tombstones in England. And actually, if you go for a nice socially distanced walk, you can still find it in St Michael's Churchyard in Alton, and it's well worth a little look. So again, unusual tombstones. Another story. Sorry,
Kevin. I was just thinking, going back. I mean, there's some. I'm thinking of all sorts of things. I heard a beautiful piece on Radio 4 about a priest who went to discover the most beautiful words written on any tombstone in the country, and the one that he found was heartbreaking. I can't remember it exactly, so I'm not going to misquote it, but it was a beautiful headstone that was commissioned by the grieving mother of the very final soldier to be killed in the Great War. And it was a heartbreaking stone. But yeah, I found it fascinating. Tombstones and headstones, they're wonderful.
Actually, Paul, there is a really good book about odd tombstones or inscriptions upon tombstones gathered from around the country. So the first person to die in a duel is commemorated on the tombstone.
Yeah.
The first person to lose, or the last person to lose his life to Dick Turpin, all sorts of things like that, the plague, and there's all sorts of inscriptions you can look for. And again, it might be a bric-a-brac hanging around a churchyard, but also it can be a very beautiful sanctuary of nature. But also looking at certain tombstones is just amazing. So I've come across another really fun story, again, a short one. I don't know how long, what time I've got, because also in this lockdown.
All night, Kevin. You got all night
long, like Lionel Richie. But just before that, just one last thing. St Edmund's Church, our very own home from home, St Edmund's in Kessingland. There's a tombstone, I believe, to a policeman who was, I think, the first policeman in the country to be shot.
Yeah, Ebenezer Tye, I believe, is his name.
I should have known.
He was the first policeman to lose his life by a gun. He was shot chasing robbers in Halesworth, and they had a firearm, and I think he got one of the people who was trying to apprehend, and the other one pulled it out of his, shot at point blank range, out of his gun, out of his pocket, and shot him. Yeah, and absolutely right, Paul. Very bizarre. I think the first policeman ever to lose his life via a firearm happened just down the road, and again, that's inscribed as well in the local churchyard.
But the other story,
I might not have got his name right. It's definitely, I know the story though.
I'm just going to say, Rosemary Balkett, she says, "Hi, Kevin. Great to see and listen to you again. It has been a long time, hasn't it, Rosemary?" Also, Sally Hardman, she says, "Talk all night, Kevin. We love your stories." We certainly do. So what was the next one that you mentioned?
Well, it was just another one. Have you heard the one about the boat that landed an eagle? This was a story that I'd come across first in Trevor Cherry's book about local legends, and then was picked up again by Jack Rose. But yeah, one of the boats, a little small fishing smack in the 1880s, was somewhere deep in the North Sea, possibly nearer to the sort of Danish coast, when they were hauling the nets in, and they saw a large bird that started to circle them and then started to fly straight towards the boat. And so they stopped and actually just were mesmerized by this bird, because it was a large bird of prey. And then literally it got lower and lower and hit the actual boat's rigging. and then fell into the sea right next to the boat. Now, the skipper, being a very quick thinking man, plunged his hand over the side of the boat and managed to save the bird, which was obviously stunned and exhausted, pulled it onto the deck, and obviously it looked quite wet and disheveled, but it was still alive. And fishermen, being enterprising souls, and anything that they could buy or maybe sell, put it in a crate and fed it some scraps of fish, and it recovered. And they obviously headed back to port within sort of 1 or 2 days. When they got back to port and opened the crate up, they actually found, because obviously it caused a lot of interest on the fish market, that had actually landed an imperial eagle. That obviously it was quite a young juvenile, and obviously it lost its bearings and flown out to sea. And actually they then made a good quid or two by selling it to Sir Morton Peto, and actually it was kept at Somerleyton Hall. And I believe, having been to Somerleyton Hall, when it passed away, it was stuffed and mounted. So actually it's still in existence, I believe, somewhere in Somerleyton Hall. But yes, that's about a ship that landed an eagle.
Brilliant.
As bizarre as it is.
Not to be outdone by the church.
No.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Well, look, we've got a couple of comments, Kev. I'm going to share them.
Okay.
Sally Hardman, talk all night, Kevin. We love your stories. I'm sure Sally isn't the only person who thinks that. Certainly me and Paul are with her on that. Absolutely. And Kasia Marcinkowska, she joins us from Poland. She says, I love looking at old tombstones. They can tell you many stories.
Absolutely. There's a lot of stories to be had. Wonderful stories to then research as well. So keep up the good work, Kasia.
Yeah. Just one more thing, Kevin. Going back to the ship the ship that was sunk by a church. Am I right in thinking? You may not know this, but when you look up at an old-fashioned church and you see that the roof structure, I believe it's based on the structure of a ship, like the upside down hull of a ship.
That's a no, isn't it?
Okay. That I don't know. No, that's one that's sort of new to me. I'm always fascinated by flint knappings and the different sort of periods. So again, if it's a circular tower, then it's Saxon. If it's a square tower, then it's more Norman based. And then you'll get churches that are like hybrids, that some that have burnt down and then been rebuilt. Yeah. You've got the very beautiful church on Courton Cliffs, St Bartholomew's. It's very ghostly and ethereal, and then has a smaller church inside it, obviously, because it had burned down and stuff. So great place for ghost stories. But I'd have to look into that about the
I think someone might tell us. I would hope someone might tell us, somebody that knows. But yeah, I'm sure there's a piece in the Bible about turning a ship over and sort of making the church from underneath it, and that's often, when you look up, you can see it looks like the bows of a boat and the planks and whatnot. I just thought it was very ironic to have turned the table with that and have the roof of a ship or the roof of a church sink the hull of the ship.
When we've actually performed in Christchurch, there is very much in Lowestoft, in the Christchurch church itself, a feeling of it being a boat. And often the beach village itself in Lowestoft, before there was actually brick buildings down on the Deans and where the netminders and the posts are, there are lots of salvage boats that were then converted into houses. So half upturned boats with a little door on. And again, when people talk about bringing bits of history back, that would be lovely if we could recreate some of those bits for people to come back to Lowestoft on that sort of trail.
Yeah, absolutely. Ken, we're just going to feature a comment now. You are correct. The inside roof of a church is a boat. Well, there you go, Paul. But actually, Kevin, we mentioned before you came on, I don't think you were in the waiting room at that point, so you might not have heard it, but we talked about when we did a shoddy night, and we talked about why we called it that, and the fact that this term, which was peculiar to Lowestoft, for shods, which were kind of ramshackle huts that the fishermen used to sit in and either house their yolls or their fishing gear, or maybe with the larger ones, they were sort of adorned with with the items that they managed to salvage from the shipwrecks that the boats and the ships that they helped. And actually, we found some pictures for that show, which we found through research, that that showed these shods to be exactly that. Maybe not the underside of a boat, but certainly adorned as if to look like a boat. They'd have like the figureheads and nets and ropes and old sails and masts and lots. So you can very
it
easily,
certainly gives a wonderful atmosphere, and obviously the shod was another term for a boating shed. And again, it's a place where they would go and have rest and recuperation and play the game of cards, or put on the occasional concert, of which we then, and I do miss you guys and everybody else on the Rogue Shanty course, bring to life with a good old shanty or two, and entertain folks. So it's a great place to swap in stories, bits of history, and again, it would be lovely to recreate. But yes, they had lots of figureheads of boats or the names of the boats, because that was part of their salvage that they could then claim as the company.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kevin. It's been
Pleasure.
It's been a real pleasure to have you on board, if you pardon the pun.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Well, I've been inspired by you guys to do some writing as well, and doing some poems that, as I said, I'm going to hopefully send in, and maybe we can convert one or two to a poem, to a shanty, which would be nice.
Yes, we will, yeah. In fact, we almost met together, Paul and I, to start working on some music. It didn't quite happen, but yeah, when it is, your poems are top of the list.
Anytime.
Michelle Gallagher says, thank you so much for Kevin for sharing your wealth of knowledge with us. I would concur with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin, we want to say thanks very much. Thanks to, or not thanks, but hello to Adam as well, because we gather he's kind of back home, is he?
Baby shanty.
Yeah, the baby shanty has been retrieved and is back in the local area. And he's having his beard shaved or trimmed at this very moment. I would like him to make an appearance.
We should have done Click Go the Shears.
Yeah.
Yes. Some pirate shanty.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, Kevin, thanks once again, and hopefully we'll be able to get you back on before too long. But keep safe and well, and we'll read out any comments that we get in appreciation of your appearance. So thank you.
Same to you guys. Look after yourselves and keep up the good work.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. So it's Kevin Barnard, a wonderful member of our Rogue Shanty Chorus and kind of our resident storyteller. I want to say thank you very much to him, because it doesn't matter. It always feels like, even though sometimes I know I've heard one of his stories before, it always feels like I'm hearing it for the first time. And whatever it is, I always, if they're funny stories, I laugh. If they're kind of sentimental stories, they just get me there. So thank you, Kevin, for your. I know. You've spent many years researching, and your interest has kind of led you to find out about these stories. But the wonderful thing is that we get to also share them usually through our meetings, and you either share them with our chorus, or more formally in performances, but also in the digital arena as well. So thank you once again. And a couple of comments there as well from Sally Hardman. Stay well, Kevin, and hopefully we will see you again soon. Yeah, I hope so, Sally, soon. Not just again, but soon. And Rosemary Bokit, thanks, Kevin. Yeah, absolutely. Sue Day, thank you, Kevin. Lovely to hear you. Not to see him, Sue, or just.
Quickly going back to Saw Naked now, Suffolk word or phrase, how you heard it, boy. Saw Naked. We've got a couple of comments on that as well tonight. The first is Rosemary says, could it be saw them necking? Well, I get what you mean. For those that don't know, perhaps our Polish friends or our Canadian friends, necking, how would we describe that? Necking, I guess kissing, really. Sort of, just being generally canoodling and whatnot. Also, some other comments. Jackie Draper, in regard to our question, where's the strangest place you found a pet? Jackie Draper says, our cat used to snuggle up to a rabbit in its hutch, and they both enjoyed a slice of toast. She's gone a bit further there and talked about the dietary conditions.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sue Day, back to Saw Naked. Could it mean saw and aching, head or any body part?
That is a great guess, actually. That is a fantastic guess.
Yes, it is. And Linda says, that's what I thought, Sue. She also thinks that was a great guess. Anyway, I think is it my turn to do a song?
I don't think it's whoever's turn, but yeah, it is yours.
All right, okay. I'm going to do one of our regular repertoire, which is number 7 to our rogues. And here we go. Let me just clear this off. There we go. It's called Haul Away Joe. And please, please, please sing along. When I was a little lad, and so my mother told me, way, haul away, well, haul away, Joe. That if I did not kiss the gals, me lips would all grow moldy. Way, haul away, well, haul away, Joe. Way, haul away, the good ship is a boldin'. Way, haul away, well, haul away, Joe. Way, haul away, the sheet is now unfolding. Way, haul away, well, haul away, Joe. King Louis was the king of France before the revolution. Way, haul away, well, haul away, Joe. But then he got his head cut off, which spoiled his constitution. Way, haul away, well, haul away, Joe. Way, haul away, we'll haul for better weather. Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Way, haul away, we'll haul away together. Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Way, haul away, we'll haul away together. Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. The cook is in the galley, boys, making duff so handy. Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. The captain's in his cabin, lads, he's drinking wine and brandy. Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Way, haul away, I'll sing to you of Nancy. Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Way, haul away, she's just my cotton fancy. Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Way, haul away, we'll haul for better weather. Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Way, haul away, we'll haul away together. Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe.
Lovely. So Haul Away Joe. Great song. Are we getting a tiny bit of audio garble or lag there? Just now and again we get it, and we do let you know. Obviously, we're completely at the mercy of technology, but just so you know that when we intend to get faster or slower, we will get faster or slower. But sometimes it happens, and we don't intend for it to happen. So, and that was one of those occasions. So anyway, there you go. Oh, a few claps there. Marianne Bichert, she sends 3, and Michelle Gallagher also sends 3. Marianne's are yellow, and Michelle's are pink. Is that the difference between Canadians and Brits?
Maybe there's more sun in Canada at the moment.
Maybe. I'm sure there is. There's got to be. Look, I'm going to follow that up fairly quickly with a wonderful song called Spanish Ladies.
Hey.
Yeah. This we take this from the Oxford Book of Sea Songs by Roy Palmer. I mean, it's reference to it in many, but the version that we use, certainly the lyrics that we use are from this, and it's number 19. If you've got your lyrics at home and you want to follow us, if not, and regardless of whether you do or not, we will display them on the screen. But Roy Palmer says this about Spanish Lady. He says, as we've said before, and I think as most people know, in actual fact, this was a Royal Navy song originally sung aboard ships homeward bound from the Mediterranean. Then it was adopted by merchant seamen and used as a capstan shanty. We've spoken much about what a capstan is and what it does and how it works. So we won't again. But it says the whalemen also had their own version. The earliest text I have seen, this is Roy Palmer, is from the Nelly's logbook of 1769. but the triumphant enumeration of Channel landmarks is mangled, probably through mishearing or misunderstanding by American sailors, and reads, and then it reads differently to what we'd expect. The text from Captain Marryat's Poor Jack, published 1840, has been used here, together with a tune in a minor key from Chapel, though modern sailors use the major. Melville had the song sung aboard the Pecund, and in White Jacket 1850 remarked that it was a favourite thing with British man-of-war's men. Even by 1906, it was still much sung in the Navy, and Clements, who heard it from merchant seamen at about the same time, found the last verse as literally exact as a mathematical formula. Yeah, absolutely. It's certainly a song that stirs. And then he finishes by saying, apart from the song Rolling Home, no sweeter song ever gave expression to the homing instinct of the human heart. We can certainly attest. We believe that's the case as well. But let's share the lyrics over. He says, yeah, and so it goes like this. Farewell and adieu to you Spanish ladies, farewell and adieu to you ladies of Spain, for we've received orders for to sail for old England, but we hope in a short time to see you again. We'll rant and we'll roar like true British sailors, we'll rant and we'll roar all on the salt sea, until we strike soundings in the channel of old England. From Shanty as 35 leagues, we hove our ship to with the wind from southwest, boys. We hove our ship to for to strike soundings clear. 'Twas 45 fathoms with a white sandy bottom, so we squared up our main yard and up channel did make. We'll rant and we'll roar like true British sailors, we'll rant and we'll roar all on the salt sea, until we strike soundings in the channel of old England. From Ushant to Scilly is 35 leagues. The first land we sighted was called the Dodman, next Ramehead off Plymouth, then Portland and the White. We sailed by Beachy, by Fairlight and Dungeness, and then we bore up for the South Foreland Light. We'll rant and we'll roar like true British sailors, we'll rant and we'll roar all on the salt sea, until we strike soundings in the channel of old England. From Ushant to Scilly is 35 leagues. Then the signal was made for the Grand Fleet to anchor, and all in the Downs that night for to lie. Let go your shank painter, let go your cat stopper, haul up your clew garnets, tack and sheets fly. We'll rant and we'll roar like true British sailors, we'll rant and we'll roar all on the salt sea, until we strike soundings in the channel of old England. From Ushant to Scilly is 35 leagues. Now let every man drink of his full bumper, and let every man drink of his full glass. We'll drink and be jolly and drown melancholy, and here's to the health of each true-hearted lass. We'll rant and we'll roar like true British sailors, we'll rant and we'll roar all on the salt sea, until we strike soundings in the channel of old England. From Ushant to Scilly is 35 leagues. Okay, so Spanish ladies there. Let's stop the share. There we are. Okay, Spanish ladies, wonderful version. Certainly there are a few versions around, but the version we use melodically and lyrically from the Oxford Book of Sea Songs by Roy Palmer.
Well, of course, Stephen mentioned it being in the minor key, which is the version we take from. If you wish to hear it in the major key, have a look at Jaws, the first film of Jaws. You'll find Shaw singing it. It's so hard to sing in the major key.
It goes like this. Dum, dum.
Yeah, that is in minor key. Farewell and adieu to you, Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu to you ladies of Spain, for we've received orders for to sail for old England, and we hope in a short time to see you again, and so on. We've got comments on that though, as I thought we might. Fantastic, says Michelle Gallagher. It was rather good. And also Marion Bouchette, she gave it 3 rounds of applause. Now Linda Boyce and Chris Collins just stunned into silence. Absolutely stunned into silence.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm actually going to read a couple of comments from the voice cloud thread, because we can't pull the comments over onto screen like we can when they come on our Rogue Shanty Chorus stream, but we're cross-posting to a few of our Facebook groups. And this is from Jean Mitchell. She says, good evening to you both. Hope you're well and having a good time this evening on your show. Well, we are, Jean. Thank you very much. And thanks for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying it. She says, we have seen the Shanty Boys, I think, at Christchurch in Lowestoft. Could this be the Rogue Shanty Boys? I think they're at Kesselon too, I do believe. Am I correct in thinking about 30 of them all together? Not quite. And I know it's confusing because we use a similar name, but that's probably the Rogue Shanty Chorus that you saw. The Rogue Shanty Boys are fewer and exclusively men. And she says, well done to you all. Congratulations. Love these songs. Well done again. Nice too. Lovely song there. Bless you. Oh, well, bless you too. Thank you very much, Jean.
Thank you, Jean. And do you know what? I'm going to mention this as well. If you're enjoying this broadcast, please share the post on your timeline. And I can't stress that enough. That really makes a difference to us. So thank you to everybody that has done and will continue to do so. But it's really, really important for us because it helps us to get shanties out there and also to make it more obvious to everybody the good work that People's Health Trust are doing to make sure that projects like ours, like this Rogue Shanty Chorus, is funded. Now, if you'd like to support us further, you can do so by making a donation. And that would be at the address www.paypal.me/onlinechoir. Now, this is the website that you're seeing on your screen now. We know that times are hard right now. And because of that, we are grateful for any amount that we receive. And I promise you that all of those donations will go directly towards keeping the Rogue Shanty Chorus singing, along with the contributions made by People's Health Trust. So thank you to everybody that has done so. Thank you to everybody that shares these posts. And but mainly, thank you for joining in and just having a good old watch.
Yeah, we love a good old watch.
Yes, we do. Also, we're going to stay in the minor key for this one. This is one of our Rogue Shanty Choruses repertoire. It's number 28. It's called The Unnatural Murder. I'm going to give you a little bit of the context of that because it's not a shanty. And really it's related as being a wet song because the son in this tale comes home from sea. Now, basically, a sailor in disguise returns home to his parents, hoping to surprise them with his newfound wealth. He's obviously been at sea since he was a young boy, and it's changed him significantly because his own father doesn't actually recognize him. So he's mistaken for a stranger. His father and stepmother then kill him and steal his gold. When the mistake comes to light, both parents commit suicide, and also the boy's sister dies with grief. Sounds like quite a fantastical story, but it was, in fact, believed to be true. Broadcast by Smeaton on this case is undated, but the crime described can be traced back to 1618. The prose account accompanying the ballad takes much of its wording from Saunderson's Annals of James I, but adds new information that the victim's name was James Andrew Macaulay. So if you're interested, do look that up. The Annals of King James and King Charles I, and this song is found in content in a broadside by Smeaton, and the crime itself dates back to 1618. It's a fascinating tale and a cute little song. I'd love to give you the song. It's called The Unnatural Murder. It really is murder most unnatural, and it's number 28 in our Rogue Shanty Chorus repertoire. Here we go. All you who have children dear, now hear this tale of woe. The history of this tragedy I now to you will show. A happy couple at Penryn had a son who went to sea, and after 15 years returned his parents for to see. He to their cot disguised did go, ask shelter from the cold, and ere he laid him down to sleep, showed all his wealth and gold. The mother to the father went in anxious, breathless haste, and told of treasures she had seen around the stranger's waist. The father then by Satan led did take the killer's part. He stole the cursed gold away and stabbed his own boy's heart. And scarce before the parents yet had seen the morrow's light, their daughter came with joy to ask of the sailor their last night. She said, it is my brother James, who long at sea has roved. He's come back home to share his wealth with those he dearly loved. Oh, when they found the murdered youth was their own darling boy, most frightful horrors seized their minds, and bitterly they cried. The guilty pair then slew themselves, their sin they could not hide, and the broken-hearted daughter sank to the ground and died. Chris Collins says, sounds like a very cheerful story. I think you can assess now, having heard it, not a cheerful story at all, but I recognize that was a tongue-in-cheek comment. So that is the Unnatural Murder, number 28 in our Rogue Shanty Chorus repertoire.
And very nice too. I mean, kind of very nice, but I like what he did with it anyway. You know what I mean?
I'm just going to feature a comment from Marion Bouchette in British Columbia, Canada. Thank you to the People's Health Trust. These sessions have definitely contributed to my mental health over the past month. I'm going to assume she means positive mental health and not negative mental health. It's no laughing matter, but hopefully we're keeping you company and cheering you up just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, Chris Collins says, sounds like a very cheerful story. And Marion says, why do we enjoy these depressing tales? I think it makes us feel better about our life when we know that you know what you normally watch on EastEnders, where a son comes back home from sea after many years and is murdered by his father accidentally, who then drops down dead of a heart attack. Realizing what he's done, you know, it makes us feel better about.
Yeah, we all feel bad at times, but at least none of us have ever murdered our son and then killed ourselves while our daughter died in grief.
No,
no.
Yeah.
One more quick mention to our Suffolk word or phrase from the book by Edward Moore of the same name. We call it "How You Heard It, Boy." Today it's "Sornaken." What do you think that means? Sornaken or Sorniken? I'm not myself. We'll have to find out later, and hopefully we won't forget, but we'd love to know what you think it means. Also, a little bit more time, just a chance to get in with where you found your pet. What's the strangest place that you might have found your pet? And before Stephen gears up for another song, next week we are celebrating our 20th live stream episode. 20.
Wow.
A takeover by our alternative group, or alternate group, a social media takeover by the Rogue Shanty Boys. That will be next Tuesday, which is the 28th of July. We hope you can join us. If you can't join us, it's not a problem, because you can always tune in. You can catch up with these sessions at any point, including our Monday night history sessions with the legend, Mr. Ivan Bunn.
Yeah, and if you they're kind of, I guess we've persuaded them to come on so we can promote our live and online concert, which is next Friday, the 31st of July. It'll be the first time, in fact, that the boys have played together in many months. We will be live together, socially distanced, at a beautiful location, a secret Suffolk hideaway, and you can watch it online. Okay, so all 7 of us will be there. The roll call went out and everybody said that they could make it. We'll start from 7 p.m. and the tickets are £7 until next Monday when they go up by £1. So they're early bird £7. The link to attend or to buy the tickets is in the stream. And although you won't physically be with us, we will make it as interactive as we possibly can. So we'll do a sound check, and you're very welcome to join in with that. We'll be doing a chat before the session that you can join in with. We'll be doing a bit of a Q&A afterwards, and even we will let you choose what we sing. Paul says, what? We will let you choose what we sing. So you can't click that link, but you can when it's in the Facebook thread. And if you want any more information or you want to know how it works, just message the page and we can tell you more about it. Okay, now look, we're coming towards the end. I'm going to do another song, maybe two, we'll see. But this one actually is American through and through. And this is, I found a kind of a thread of this on the internet that I picked at and found a bit more information. And this wonderful book here, American Ballads and Folk Songs by John and Alan Lomax. And there's a fair chunk of that book which is devoted to this next song. Americans, I think, will know this very well. The Brits, obviously, not so much. But this is actually a Gandhi dancer's song. And you probably don't even know what Gandhi dancer is. But Gandhi dancer was a slang term which was used for early railroad workers in the United States. And yeah, there's an authentic picture of some. And they were more formally referred to as section hands. But they were the guys who laid and maintained railroad tracks in the years before the work was done by mechanization or machines. They were called dancers because those who did it very regularly. And certainly there were some that kind of liberally came in and out of the industry, and they went into other industries, including fishing. But the men who were particularly adept at this were called dancers because they had this synchronized movement when repairing or making the tracks under the direction of a lead workman. And he was known as the caller or the call man. And the name Gandhi is supposed to have arisen from a belief that the hand tools were once named after a company in Chicago called the Gandhi Tool Company. And these songs were used in the tradition of work songs to keep the rhythm going. Very important, just exactly the same way that it would have been done in fishing. And obviously there was the murky aspect of slavery used as well, and many black men were used as slaves to work in this way. But this song was actually recorded, the version we found actually, or rather from the book here by the Lomaxes, and on the Cultural Archive there's a very grainy recording of a gentleman called Arthur Bell singing to John Lomax in 1939 this wonderful song called John Henry. It's rather rambunctious, and hope you like it. No lyrics for this one, it's not in our repertoire. John Henry was a little baby sitting on his daddy's knee. He picked up a hammer, a little piece of steel, and cried, "Hammer's gonna be the death of me, Lord, Lord, hey, hammer's gonna be the death of me." John Henry told his captain, "Lord, a man ain't nothing but a man. But before I let that steam drill beat me on down, I'm gonna die with a hammer in my hand. Lord, Lord, hey, I'll die with a hammer in my hand." John Henry driving on the right side, that steam drill driving on the left. He says, "Before I let your steam drill beat me on down, I'm gonna hammer myself to death. Lord, Lord, hammer my fool self to death." Well, Captain said to John Henry, "What is that storm that I hear?" Well, John Henry said, "I can't hear no storm, Captain, that's just my hammer in the air. Lord, Lord, hey, it's just my hammer in the air." John Henry said to his shaker, "Shaker, why don't you sing? 'Cause I'm swinging 30 pounds from my hips on down, and listen to my cold steel ring. Lord, Lord, hey, listen to my cold steel ring." John Henry hammered in the mountains. His hammer was striking fire. But he worked so hard, it broke down his heart. John Henry laid down his hammer and died. Lord, Lord, John Henry laid down his hammer and he died. John Henry laid his hammer down and died. John Henry laid down his hammer and died. John Henry, wonderful song, and supposedly, and actually, well, not supposedly necessarily, but there's a lot of proof to indicate that John Henry was a real person. It was based on a factual account of a guy who, as an infant, as the lyrics tell you, as an infant, foretold his own death, foretold his own kind of aspect of slavery, what he would go into, foretold his own strength, and he was only 5'1", the actual man, 5'1", but as one historian, in fact Dorflinger, Shanty collector himself and folk song archivist, he said he seems to have grown an inch every winter since he was born in the annals of the memories. But yeah, real man apparently, but certainly a fantastic song, lovely song. And there are many wonderful Gandhi dancer songs, and it's quite an issue to choose one really, because there are so many memorable and catchy ones. And
Marion Bouchette says, "Great job, Stephen." And it was a lovely song and a really interesting topic. Now, another interesting topic: where's the strangest place you found your cat? This sounded like a local radio, isn't it? When we go from something very serious to something particularly innocuous. But Carol Fisher replies to our question: my cat, when she wanted to adopt us, was on the roof meowing to come in through the Velux window. We were in bed, opened the blind, and this little face was peering in at us. Well, it must have been very off-putting to try and sleep with the cat meowing. But yeah, that does constitute a very strange place, I suppose.
Absolutely.
We've had a very transatlantic feel to this evening. We started off with "Blow You Winds," or rather, that was the first American influenced song, and Spanish Ladies. I mentioned that was part of the film Jaws, also from America, and that last piece on the Gandhi men. Working the roads in America. Now,
and Kevin actually went to America once as well.
Who did?
Kevin, who was on earlier.
Yes, he did. He just right at the beginning of lockdown. He had to quarantine himself, which can be a painful process. And but we're glad that he's with us and all is well, and will continue to be well. We hope to see him soon. I'm going to finish. Of course, obviously, we also should mention our regular attender, Marion Bouchette. She's actually from North America, which will count, being British Columbia. Now, I'm going to sing you a song called Santiana. This isn't in our repertoire either, but it's a really good shanty. It's also known as the Plains of Mexico. It's Round Index 207, or the Derflinger Ballad Index 078. Now, A.L. Lloyd wrote about it in the sleeve notes of his album, The Coast of Peru. He said, Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, far from gaining the day, as this pump or capstan shanty suggests, was defeated by General Taylor at Buena Vista in February 1847, in one of the decisive battles of the war between Mexico and the United States. Many British sailors deserted their ships to join Santillana's army, and perhaps it was a affection for the Mexican seaports that made the shanty singers reverse the run of history in their songs. Could be. I mean, I guess it's a case of what do you call it? Like a wartime thing when you. I'm
going to leave you hanging. I wasn't even listening to what you said.
What do you call that? When you have sort of fake news. Propaganda. There we go. Propaganda. Yeah. Propaganda. Yeah. Fake news. Anyway, that's what A.L. Lloyd. He also says, shanties are usually sung prettied up in the folk song clubs with tightly organised choruses and a musical discipline quite at odds with the rough and tumble work song shipboard origins of these songs. Now, he's very correct there, but we will make no apology for prettying up or bowdlerising some of our songs for the road shanty chorus. They sing them rather well, and they end up very pretty. So no apologies, but he's absolutely correct. The Watersons sing an ocean-going shanty in an ocean-going way, roughly with plenty of guts. The Santa Ana refrain probably has a slave origin. Southern Americans often adopted the name of the famous Mexican general Santa Ana as a song burden, but it has been suggested that the phrase really derives from a seaman's prayer to Saint Anne, the patron saint of Breton seamen. Also possible. Now, Stan Hugel, which we're going to take our version from mainly, he wrote in 61, quite a number of British seamen deserted their ships to join Santa Anna's wild and ragged army. Britons, it would appear, favoured the cause of the Mexicans. Well, we're a bit closer to our American cousins nowadays, as I'm sure you know. And a good thing that is too. Let's hope it stays that way. And this is Santa Ana, or the Plains of Mexico. Oh, Santa Ana gained the day away. Hey, Santa Ana, Santa Ana gained the day all across the plains of Mexico. He gained the day at Molly Del Rey away. Hey, Santa Ana, General Taylor ran away all across the plains of Mexico. Now all of his men were brave and true away. Hey, Santa Ana, every soldier brave and true all across the plains of Mexico. Oh, Santa Ana fought for fame away. Hey, Santa Ana, and Santa Ana gained a name all across the plains of Mexico. 'Twas a fierce and bitter strife away. Hey, Santa Ana, hand to hand they fought for life all across the plains of Mexico. And Santa Ana's name is known away. Hey, Santa Ana, what a man can do was shown all across the plains of Mexico. Oh, Santa Ana fought for his gold away. Hey, Santa Ana, what deeds he did have oft been told all across the plains of Mexico. 'Twas on the field of Molly Del Rey away. Hey, Santa Ana, Santa Ana lost a leg that day all across the plains of Mexico. Oh, Santa Ana's day is o'er away. Hey, Santa Ana, Santa Ana will fight no more all across the day of Mexico. Oh, Santa Ana's dead and gone away. Hey, Santa Ana, and all the fighting has been done all across the plains of Mexico. Now Santa Ana was a damn fine man away. Hey, Santa Ana, till he fouled with old Uncle Sam all across the plains of Mexico. Now Santa Ana shovels his gold away. Hey, Santa Ana, around Cape Horn in the ice and cold all across the plains of Mexico. Will dig his grave with a silver spade away. Hey, Santa Ana, and mark the spot where he was laid all across the plains of Mexico. Oh, Santa Ana, now we mourn away. Hey, Santa Ana, we left him buried off Cape Horn all across the plains of Mexico. We left him deep way off Cape Horn away. Hey, Santa Ana, close by the place where he was born all across the plains of Mexico. Oh, Santa Ana gained the day away. Hey, Santa Ana, Santa Ana gained the day all across the plains of Mexico, all across the plains of Mexico.
Lovely.
And that was the version as sung by Stan Hugel from that particular lyric version was 1993, I believe.
No, when he sung it?
I think so.
Must have been quite close to his death, actually, because I know he died in the mid-90s.
Yep.
So We're going to finish, I think. But look, Michelle says love this, and Marianne says great job, Stephen. Do you mean Marianne? What I was doing through that song, or the previous song that I did? Marianne then says rousingly sung. There you go. Thank you very much, Marianne. I think that was for Paul, but I'll take the great job, Stephen, as well. So look, we're done, I think. We want to just say thank you once again to fantastic Kevin Barnard for joining us and sharing some wonderful stories. We want to say thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Please, if you haven't yet, do click share. I know it's a pain to be kept asked for us to keep asking you to do that, but it really does help us. We don't get any kind of monetary reimbursement for that, but it certainly helps us with our aim of getting the connection out to other people if you enjoy it. Anyway, I think we're almost done. We would like to, almost, yeah. Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Before you carry on, we posed a couple of questions today. The first one was our usual "Hey, heard it, Billy," meaning, are you aware of the Suffolk word or phrase? This particular one taken from the book of Edward Moore, and it is Sornaken or Sornaken.
Yeah.
So, how you heard it? Well, a few people have commented, mainly around aches and pains of the body or the head. But we're going to find out what it actually means when Stephen tells us.
And this is from our wonderful version of this fantastic book, Suffolk Words and Phrases by Edward Moore. And Sornaken means, very good guess, actually. Whoever, I can't remember, but someone said sore and aching. That sounds completely plausible, but it wasn't. Sornaken actually means idling, lounging, or sauntering. How you do go saunterking about, dawdling. These are words of similar import. So there you go. There you have it. To idle, to lounge, or to saunter. Anyway, there it is. There it is. The other thing I guess we should do one more time is give another final plug to the Rogue Shanty Boys doing their first live concert in, I don't know how many, several months. And that will happen next Friday evening. All 7 of us at 7 p.m. And if you buy a ticket before next Monday, it's £7. We've shared the link in the stream of how you can buy a ticket. And although us guys will be physically together, but just about separately apart, it will be a proper concert at a beautiful location hidden away in Suffolk, with microphones, and we will make it as interactive as we can without actually having you be there. But certainly there'll be a chance to ask questions, to choose our set list, and to listen to the sound check. So if you would either like to attend that, or you don't want to attend that, but you're willing to spend out just to support us, we would appreciate it hugely. And you can find the link in the thread here, or just message to Paige, and we can share it with you one more time. But have we missed anything, Paul?
No, I think we're good to go. Apart from just to say one last time, thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much to anybody that shared this in their Facebook threads and feeds. We really appreciate that, because it helps us extend the reach just that little bit further. And I tell you who else appreciates it: the People's Health Trust. They're the people that fund us through the Active Communities program, and very grateful we are of it too, because it's keeping us able to communicate with our wonderful Rogue Shanty chorus, as well as newer people that we've picked up along the way. So Carol Fisher, she says, "I know, miss everyone, Sally. And next year we'll be at the heart." Sally and Carol, they're one of our regular rogues. Somebody that's joined us along the way is Kasia Marcinkovska. Thank you for the evening. Thank you for joining in, Kasia. We really appreciate it. Another of our guest rogues is Chris Collins. Thanks, guys. Well, thank you, Chris. And same goes for Marianne Bouchert. Thanks, boys. And she spelt it the proper way. So thank you, Marianne.
Oh, see what you did there, Marianne. And do you know what? Although we read out these appreciative comments at the end of every thread, we don't do it because we expect you to type them in. I mean, we do, but we obviously have to pretend we don't, and we're being humble. No, we don't. If you appreciate it, it's lovely to hear it, but you don't have to say so. Yes, you do. You keep doing so. Anyway, we're going to play you out to the credits. I'm just going to do certainly one of our newest songs. This is number 61, and we have 63 songs in our repertoire, Bully in the Alley. So I'm going to do a couple of verses just into the credits. And yeah, there's a wonderful version by Kimber's Men online for this. Not the same as ours. Ours is a little bit different, but worth checking out. Sally is a girl that I love dearly, way bully in the alley. Sally is the gal that I spliced nearly, bully down in Shinbone now. So help me Bob, I'm bully in the alley, way bully in the alley. Help me Bob, I'm bully in the alley, bully down in Shinbone now. For 7 long years I caught a tally, way bully in the alley. All she did was dilly-dally, bully down in Shinbone now. So help me Bob, I'm bully in the alley, way bully in the alley. Help me Bob, I'm bully in the alley, bully down in Shinbone now, bully down in Shinbone. Bully down in Shinbone.